week, I know you were really tired. You're looking a little more rejuvenated this week. Was it a better week, sleeping week for Jessica?
Yeah, it was a lot better. When I brought her to the daycare, and I came to see you, they said that she slept too. So I think we both had some time to sleep. And then after I left you, I went to go check on her, and she was playing. So they said that I could go and rest a little bit. So
good.
I've been catching up on sleep.
Good.
Yeah.
It's always good to. I know that you've shared how important Jessica is to you, and she's your first priority. So sometimes it's hard to take care of ourselves. So it's really good to hear that. I'm really excited to hear that.
Yeah, she's growing really fast too. I can't believe how fast she's growing since the first time we've talked. But yeah, I was exhausted, but I'm still catching up. I could probably use another nap or two, but I'm a mom, so I can't always sleep when I want. So.
Yep, that does come with it.
Yeah.
So it just seems like I always notice in the sessions that we've had that whenever you, no matter what seems to be going on, you're always lighting up when you talk about Jessica. So overall, like, how do you feel about being a new mom and just the way the whole experience has been for you?
When I was pregnant, it was a great experience. Like, I don't know. I guess it's different for everybody, but I was so happy when I found out I was pregnant with her, and now since she was born, it's tough, but it's definitely worth it. Like, cause I still don't talk to my boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or whatever he is, but Jessica, she she's a lot of work, but I love her, and being a mom is probably one of the best things, even if it wasn't when I was older, but it's probably one of the best things that has ever happened to me, even with all the trouble that I've been through. But she, like you said, I'm happy when I'm with her.
Yeah.
So being a mom is difficult sometimes, but it definitely has its perks.
Yeah. Do you ever spend any time thinking about what it means to you to be a mom and what you've experienced, like your relationship with your mom?
Well, me and my mom had a good relationship before I had Jessica. But I think, I don't know, it's kind of a hard question to answer, but what I've seen, like, my mom raised me really well, I think, but then I kind of rebelled a little bit, and then I got pregnant. But the way she raised me, I want to raise Jessica too. Even if there's no religion involved, I think that whatever she wants to believe when she's older, because my mom raised me in religion, so I think my daughter should have a choice. So,
yeah. So, just so I make sure I understand, so because you feel like you didn't have much of a choice with your religion, it would be important to you to give Jessica a choice.
Yes.
Her religion.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you feel positive about the values and things that your parents instilled in you.
Yeah.
Wow, I think that's really insightful for what you've been through, and that right now they're not currently in your life, and to still feel that way about what they've given you. But you've opened up a lot, and I really appreciate that. So I'm just wondering if you're okay with just talking a little bit more about what you see happening, or if you spend much time thinking about what that relationship's going to look like, or if you've thought about maybe reaching out to them or anything like that. If you don't mind, that's definitely up to you and your comfort level.
Yeah, I guess I could talk a little bit about it. Yeah. So since being a mom is a little difficult, I've thought about talking to my parents, but I know they don't approve of what I did and what the outcome was. But sometimes when I'm in my room and Jessica's sleeping, I think about the good times when I was younger too, and sometimes I want to talk to them, but then I'm scared that they won't answer. Like if I try to call them, they won't answer, and then if I stepped it up a little bit and actually went to my parents' house, then I don't know if they would actually accept me to come back. But I do think about going back and trying to talk to them, and I I'm I'm afraid to because I don't know what they'll say because I guess it's kind of still new because Jessica's 2 months, almost 3 months old, I think, if I can remember correctly. But I don't know. I would love to. I don't know if I would love to. I would like to talk to them and see if they still think about me, I guess.
Would you think that they think about Jessica?
I would think so, because I mean it's their granddaughter. Um, yeah, I would hope so. And like I know she doesn't understand me, but I still like talk. I talk to Jessica and like I'll mention Nana and Grandpa, and I don't know. I want her to them to be part of her life, but I mean it's just hard, I guess. But I do think about them, and I wish things were different, and I wish they accepted it because they were good parents, and then I rebelled, and probably wasn't the best decision because I thought I was in love. So, but I wish I could talk to them sometimes, and then I think back to how they kind of just rejected me, and then I get angry about that too. So I don't know.
So a lot of different emotions going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think time is definitely going to be a huge factor in working through a lot of that stuff. I think you're finding a good balance between feelings, but also practical things that need to get addressed. But for right now, you're in a safe environment, and we can talk about these things. So I think it's good. So we talked last time about, you started today talking about self care, and we had talked last session about your desire for school and everything else. So um, I had mentioned the possibility of enrolling here at Shortstock because they do a program that can accommodate you, seeing that there's different needs now for you.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. So I think that we can get into that a little bit more and maybe the options of who we need to talk to and really focus on that. I'm just kind of going over the fact that we want to make sure we stay on top of that goal because it's important to you, and I think that'll be really positive for building up confidence and feeling like you're taking care of you and that life doesn't pass you by while it's very natural to care for Jessica. That's not going to be difficult for you. So that's really good. I think the struggle can be, later on kind of feeling maybe like you didn't do what you needed to do for you. Um, does that sound about right for you?
Yeah, I think I would like to go back to school, and then yeah, I mean if it's just here, that'd be fine as long as I'm getting some kind of schooling. Because I would like to finish, even though, because yeah, I think it would be a good idea.
And I'd just like to ask if, just backtracking a little bit, um, would you be open to the possibility of exploring options with your family and that being a possible source of housing for you?
Yeah, I mean I don't know how I would approach them though, but I think because I can't be here forever. They only allow me to be here for 3 months.
But your mind doesn't say, no, I won't do that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It's just something I want to just have in my bank of information for you so that when we're just discussing things, I can keep that open as an option. But doesn't mean it's the right option, but it just means that it could be one of them. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's really good to know. Is there anything else on like your mind about anything you're experiencing here at shortstop, or anything else that's been bothering you or that you're struggling with?
Well, I've been. Everybody here is nice. I don't really have any problems here, and everybody takes care of Jessica. So everybody's nice. I don't have any bad things to say about here. But along with schooling, I have been thinking about trying to find work too. Um, I mean, there's the option of McDonald's, yeah, and then there was someone else here. I can't remember her name, but she had mentioned something about what was it? Like a gym, I think. Um, and she said some of them have daycares too.
Yeah.
So after I find some place to live, that might be a good option too, because um, I think you don't really need anything to be able to work there. You can, I think you have to be at least 16, so I'm all set.
Yeah.
And they have a daycare there too, so if I was working and nobody could watch Jessica, then I could bring her to the daycare.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good idea, but I want to focus on trying to find somewhere else to live first, and then figure out the job thing after, and then also focus on school more too. So school, housing, and then work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a lot to have on your plate at once. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So the good news is there's lots of resources and different things you can do and use to make that a little bit easier, and that's what we'll continue to explore. So you don't have to do it alone or feel like it's too much. And that's the reason for my questions, to see where you stand with different options, to maybe lessen those decisions a little bit, and maybe have some support. We talked about that being one of your goals too, because at this point with Jessica, it would be really nice to have a solid network of people before you leave here that you feel you can lean on when things are coming up.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
I don't know if I want to talk about this now, but I mean, it's been on my mind a little bit. I haven't seen my boyfriend for a while, and now I'm just assuming it's ex-boyfriend. But he hasn't really seen Jessica either, so I don't know if it would be a good idea to try to reach out to him somehow, because Jessica needs her father in her life too. But then again, he hasn't really tried to make any contact, so I don't know if you had any thought about that. If I should just leave that and then just be me and Jessica, or try to reach out to him.
I appreciate you sharing that. I mean, I think that's a really tough area for a lot of people, and I think my suggestion would be maybe to be able to ask yourself, like, why would that be important to you? I mean, clearly it's important to you for Jessica, but you mentioned, could it be he hasn't reached out? So then there's the question of, do I do this? Would it just be because she should have her father, or is it going to be more damaging in the sense of if he doesn't want to be around? So really weighing those things out. So asking yourself, like, why do I want to reach out? Would be a helpful question to ask yourself and to sit with. I know that sometimes, even myself, when I have to answer a question, I can sometimes spin in circles until I let it out and actually ask the question, and then I can kind of redirect it, and ask myself some of the tough questions that take away the spinning part of the question, because unfortunately things like this aren't black and white, right?
Yeah.
They're not black and white, and there's no wrong answer. It's going to be what's right for you, which is really empowering. It really doesn't matter what works for other people, because every situation is so unique.
Yeah.
And you already show so much strength to have your best interest and Jessica's best interest at heart. So no matter what decision you make, it's going to be for the right reasons. And it might turn out that it's not exactly what you expected it to be, but when you have these type of strengths, then you're